皆さんこんにちは。Today you gotta learn some greetings in conversation. Alex is an exchange student and he came to Japan to improve his Japanese. He decided to do homestay at Mika's family house. This is the very first conversation with them. At first, guess what they are talking about? Okay, listen the dialogue.
こんにちは、私はアレックスです。
こんにちは、ミカです。はじめまして、アレックスさん。
はじめまして、ミカさん。ミカさんはお元気ですか？
元気ですよ。アレックスさんは元気ですか？
私はとても疲れています。
Let's check with Japanese sentence.
こんにちは、私はアレックスです。
こんにちは、ミカです。はじめまして、アレックスさん。
はじめまして、ミカさん。ミカさんはお元気ですか？
元気ですよ。アレックスさんは元気ですか？
私はとても疲れています。
Let's check some vocabulary you need to understand this conversation. こんにちは is hello. You may have thinking why not こんにちは but こんにちは. Literally, you must pronounce こんにちは but we don't. We read particle は as は because it's hard to pronounce. は pronounced は when it works as particle, and this often happens. If you write them as は we can still understand, but it feels incorrect sentence. So please be careful when you write. 私 is I. We also have lots of ways to explain I, but I tell it additional. It's the last part of this video. 私 is very basic words to explain I. But we often omit to say them like Mika does in conversation. は です is verb be in English. Once again, は but pronounce は。はじめまして means nice to meet you. Literally, it means like first time. In dialogue, Alex answers はじめまして for answer. But we usually say こちらこそはじめまして It's like for me too first time. 3. It's Mr., Miss, or Mrs. in English. We have lots of ways to express their gender or kind of their age too, but I tell you in additional. 3 is very basic, you mostly can use any situation. 元気 is fine or good, positive meaning. とても means very. You can also say とても元気 if you are very good. And last, 疲れる means tired. But we don't say 私は疲れるです。Let's see some grammars. 私はです means I am. You can just add some words into this and you can express lots. For example, your name, your nationality, occupation, and so on. But in the daily conversation, we often omit 私は and just say です。Next one. お元気ですか is actually omit you are. Literally, it's only say like fine. か in the end shows question. But you can also ask like お元気 But this feels kind of without respect, so we don't use. If we don't omit you are, we say あなたはお元気ですか？あなた means you, but we usually omit. お shows some respect for the other person. You can omit and say like 元気ですか？ But we basically don't for the first time because we want to show some respect at first. 疲れている means tired. It's 疲れる and tail grammarly, but just memorize 疲れている right now. This means like you are in tired situation. Now you can understand most part of dialogue, so let's listen again with English translation.
こんにちは、私はアレックスです。
こんにちは、ミカです。はじめまして、アレックスさん。
はじめまして、ミカさん。ミカさんはお元気ですか？
元気ですよ。アレックスさんは元気ですか？
私はとても疲れています。
I'm sure you still have some grammar questions, but it's difficult to tell all, so I skip here. But just try to memorize a sentence and learn more grammar things later. If you don't, I'm sure you're gonna dislike this difficult language. At last, let's see some useful greetings. こんにちは is hello. Basic word to say hi. おはよう is good morning. We also say おはようございます. This is a bit formal and you can show some respect as well. こんばんは is good evening. It's more like hello at night. おやすみ is good night. Literally means good rest. And we can also say おやすみなさい for more polite way. さようなら is goodbye. But we often say next one, bye bye. It's coming from English as you can see. That's all for today's lesson, but I still explain more for better understanding for additional. As I told you before in this video, I say we have a lot of way to explain I. These are examples. Watashi is basic word and also you can use formal situation as well. Use watashi or just omit at the first, or name is fine too. But if you want to add personality, you can also say G's. Ore shows men. If you know some Japanese cartoon, maybe you know this. At first time better not to use because it's strong impression of men, and if you use this at first time, we definitely have bad impression to you. When you have conversation with friend, it's okay. Boku shows men but women sometimes use too. It's weak impression, but some people feel weak men. Uchi shows woman. Probably men doesn't use this. It's strong impression, but we often heard from women. Probably watashi is most used from women. We still have lots of way, but G's above are often here, I guess. Personally, as Japanese man, I use boku to normal friend or first time, and ore to besties or good friend. And watashi when I walk or when I talk with professionals or something like them. And sometimes use other way for specific situation too. Next, in dialogue, they use san as like Mr., Miss or Mrs., but we have lots of way to say them too. San is normal way to say. There are no specific gender, just as san after name. Kun is for men, basically feel more friendly than san. Chan is for women, but you can use to boy and girls too. Sama is formal way, like on workplace. We don't use daily life to the friend because it feels too much respect. At last, you can express your status by G's words. とても元気です means you are very well. 元気です means you are good or fine. まあまあです means normal. But more like nothing to tell, but I'm still doing good, something like this. and we use this word a lot, maybe too much. 普通です is you are normal. 少し疲れている is you are a little bit tired. 少し means little bit. 疲れている means you are tired. And とても疲れている means you are very tired. That's all for additional. If you want more, watch the linked bloggers. お疲れ様でした。よろしければ他の動画もご覧ください。Please check out the videos. またお会いしましょう。